Hi, here is Liprandi and we are about to witness destruction because the Godzilla'S gang is coming. But first, if you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to our channel. We are reviewing our huge collection of vintage toys and you will definitely find something from your childhood right here. Back in the 1970s, kids didn't have the internet, of course, but they had television, and in order to fill the show schedule up, many very old or just cheap movies were broadcast. Such system gave some old classics and B-movies an opportunity to gain a new following. Kids' hunger for monsters could be satisfied by Japanese monster movies and tokusatsu TV shows. In Japan there was a market for very cheap Kaiju monster toys made in hollowed-out soft vinyl, in Japanese sofutu bineru, sofubi for short. Such toys had been made since the 1950s, but in the 70s one of the major toy companies in Japan was Bandai and its division Poppy. So they made a lot of those monsters. They had a toy line called King Zoro's, featuring creatures from both Godzilla movies and Ultraman TV shows. It also included a couple of Ultraman action figures. And that is where Mattel decided to pick from for their new line of rack monster toys for the Western market. We will start from the king of the monsters himself, the 50 meters tall Godzilla. Created in 1954 for the movie Godzilla, of course the one that launched the entire genre. Sofubi toys were meant to be quickly and cheaply made, so both the sculpt and the paint applications on this toy are quite rough. We can move his tail, we can move the arms forwards and backwards, and we can move the legs. And as we have said before, it is all made in hollowed out soft vinyl. It isn't soft anymore because it's over 40 years old, but it is still hollow. Kaiju monsters are giant and incredibly heavy, so they leave giant and impressive footprints on the ground. And that is why all the creatures from the King Zoro's toy line, and therefore also all the members in the Godzilla'S gang, have unique footprints under their feet. King Joe is a 55 meters tall robot monster that comes from the Ultra 7 TV show from 1967. He's got a nice metallic finish with pink and green highlights. We can move his arms forwards and backwards and he can rotate at the waist. With Godzilla, who is of course the most popular character in the line, King Joe is the hardest one to find intact because of these very thin antennas on his head. As in many cheap toys, we don't have paint applications on the back, but we can read the Poppy trademark. And of course, he will leave very peculiar giant footprints on your playground. Benstar is a 46 meter tall Kaiju from the Return of Ultraman TV show from 1971. He's painted in a very dark metallic green with pink metallic shades and brown highlights here and there. We can move the arms forwards and backwards and we can rotate the creature's head. Nice, we have tiny eyeballs and pupils here, as well as some pointy teeth in the beak and mouth. Under his feet we can see Benstar's special footprints. Nokogiri is a 50 meters tall bug from the Return of the Ultraman TV show from 1971. His name comes from the Japanese word for so, which is Nokogiri. Brown vinyl with giant black bug eyes and very cheap yellow and red paint applications. We can move his head, we can move the arms and the legs. And under his feet we can see very odd footprints. 40 meters tall, Mikolas seems to be the Kaiju version of actor Jack Elam, and he comes from the Ultra 7 TV show from 1967. He's one of my favorite monsters from this line. I like his face, and I also like these horns on his head. We can move Mikolas' arms forwards and backwards, and we can rotate his waist. If you'll see a giant crater with this shape, you will know that Mikolas has passed by. Ele King is a 53 meters tall Kaiju from the Ultra 7 TV show from 1967, and he's one of my least favorite toys from this line, maybe because of its colors. We can move Mikolas' head, arms and legs, and again he's got some very peculiar footprints under his feet. Alien Icarus is a 40 meters tall monster from the Ultra 7 TV show from 1967, and he takes his name from an asteroid which was actually passing by the Earth when his episode was aired. We can only move his waist and arms, but with these giant bat-like features, he's one of my favorites, and under his feet we will see some very distinctive footprints. Muroji is a 48 meters tall creature from the Return of the Ultraman TV show from 1971, with fish-like features, but that somehow takes its name from a Japanese pork dish called inamuruchi. Made in brown vinyl with yellow and green random paint applications, he's not a beauty, but we can move his arms, tail and legs, and under his feet we see some of the coolest footprints in the line. And these are the 8 members from the Godzilla'S gang from Mattel 1978, but knowing that in the original line King Zoro's there were many more than 8, will give you an appetite for these beautiful kaiju monsters. As kids, we loved these monsters despite their silly and naive look, but honestly, monsters in American TV shows from the 60s were not more realistic. Just think of Lost in Space or Star Trek. The difference is that in Japan they've kept these monsters pretty much the same over the decades, seeing their simplicity as an artistic trait, while in the USA they've tried to make their special effects more and more believable. Overall, the Godzilla'S gang is a lovely toy line, fun to collect and play with. The hardest to find will be probably Godzilla and King Joe. But if you are looking for the creatures that were not included in the Mattel assortment, of course they will be even harder to come by, because since they were not made for an international market, they are even more rare. Well, if you liked this video, please click on the like button, subscribe to our channel. We have reviewed many vintage toys and we will keep on doing that. And please let us know what you think of our video and of this toy line in the comments below. We will answer as soon as possible. Ciao!